Hello, welcome to Mzansi All Star. My name is Connie. Today I want to talk about this BELA Bill that is actually creating a lot of commotion on social media and in South Africa around some political party, DA, that joined the GNU. So today, the president of South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa, is going to sign this bill called the BELA Bill. It's an acronym for Basic Education Law Amendments Bill. This law needed to actually change. It is aimed because it's a really huge legislation effort that went to different went to the lower house and upper house of the parliament. Now it's waiting for the president to sign, and the signing is today. Under the South African law constitution, the president cannot has a period in which they must sign a bill that has gone through both upper and lower house to become a law. So the bill has already gone through that. It's now waiting for it to be signed to become a law of the country. So what this bill aims to do, so now the bill aims to shift control over schooling from individual school privatization era, the apartheid era of privatization, into more control towards the government. And also it's going to mandate certain things. One of those things that it's aimed to mandate that children should all attend reception. So we've seen that the reception in South Africa, it actually depends on where the child lives. So some children can access reception because their parents are wealthy. Some children cannot access the reception. So the aims to uniformize that and make it a law. Every child needs to attend a reception. We know that here in Australia, all the kids go to reception, right? As you know. Now, that is making sure that the South African education, basic education, which early learning is in line with the rest of the world. That's number one, that reception part of it. It also aimed to look at language policies. As I said before in my last, in all my posts about South Africa, is that South Africa has about 12 official languages. The 12th language is now officially a sign language. Sign language, South Africa have their own sign language that is South African, that is different than Auslan, which is Australian Sign Language. So I know everyone should know that there's difference between sign language of each country. So this 12th sign language is official, number 12 official language that's going to be included in this bill. It's also going to include around, it's going to look at how languages policies are implemented in school, and it gives some guidance around how these language policies can be implemented so that it's actually fair and equitable for the community where the school is located. Previously, these schools were very much excluding a lot of kids from different backgrounds who spoke different languages. We know that some of these schools are mostly around English and Afrikaans being dominant in and actually making languages of community that speak different language other than these two languages becoming very much marginalized, being marginalized and not having to travel far to find a school that is suitable for that child. That is going to end, and it's going to make sure that the HOD of the school look into how they can have inclusive language policy, and that doesn't actually discriminate between different languages that are spoken within the community. If their school, they don't actually have a clear language, then the government can intervene. If there are issues around that language policy, the minister can intervene in that case. But it also provides a guideline how about they can do that. It really, I think people who are against this bill, they think, oh, government is going to take over the administrative of the school, but it's not. We know that it's not. It happens here in Australia. It's not like that. It's about making sure that the HOD, they make decision, but when you make decision, you have to have a law that is going to be the BELA Bill that's going to determine how they can make those decisions around policy of this language policy in the school. It's not about excluding some. It really aims at making sure the education system is in line with the Bill of Rights, which is enshrined in the South African Constitution. And also look at admission policy as well, how kids are admitted, and the issue around kids are excluded from attending certain schools because they live in certain areas, and also making sure that kids who are living in certain school are giving priority for admission, so that you don't have these issues of where you have schools that are really great, but kids that are living in that community would often struggle to get access to that school because others have enrolled in that school. So it gives a lot around admission policy as well. It also look at how homeschooling is going to be implemented in South Africa, making sure that wealthy parents who are homeschooling their kids, they have to homeschool their kids, making sure they actually have to meet a very strict criteria around the quality of education they offer to their kids when they decide to homeschool. So this one is also very important around that. It also criminalizes parents who don't send their kids to school, and to make sure that really all children should attend school. There has to be a reason why. It also gives reason why if the kids can't attend school, what things need to happen, what all those steps necessary for the parents to take around that. So it gives that very clear, those things. Also centralize the decision, ministerial intervention when these things are not implemented. So the minister will have the power to intervene in that case. So that's what the bill is going to do. And I think I like this bill because it's going to make education the same. It's going to make sure that every child, who doesn't matter whether you live in rural, remote areas, wealthy suburb, your education is going to be similar. Because we've seen that how the privatization of education, the privatization of basic education has led to a lot of, not so great result. Because South Africa spend a lot of money on education. When you look at the budget, you can see how much money they spend on that education. So you really, as a government, you need to look at what are you getting, what is the outcome? Are you getting your money's worth based on the money you're putting in for this basic education? Because if the resources are so stretched that the wealthy schools are getting more, but the other schools don't actually receive any, you really need to look at it and actually standardize it, so that when you standardize it, at least you can utilize this common denominator, so that each and every child has now access to this good education, quality, good education, that actually may lead to potentially seeing more people like Elon Musk coming from South Africa and actually doing great things around the world, or even in South Africa, because you start from early education. It doesn't, early education is fundamental to producing great people who can bring about solution, modern, new invention, new technology, more complex economy. It starts from early education. So I like this bill. However, I know that DA, which is the opposition party, it's not an opposition party because it's actually part of the GNU. So they decided to partner with ANC to form the government, and to become, they call that government a government of national unity, has threatened to pull out of the government of national unity because of this bill. And I feel like it's childish because this bill had gone through both lower and upper house, and it's just waiting for the government to sign, and it's waiting for the president to sign. So the president really has no choice. If the bill is constitutional, he needs to sign it. He can't wait until next year, whatever, when they decide to do it. So it's a bit dumb for them to actually be talking about they're going to pull out of GNU. If they pull out of GNU, ANC can ask other party to support them. But it is where I don't, these threats, it's actually providing some instability now. I feel like the DA is a problem now for ANC. It is a big problem. So it's now look like they are going to be a government of national division, not a government of national unity. So I don't know if the DA has actually forgotten that do they understand that they're actually part of the government now? Do they understand that when you're part of government, you're governing? You're not you're governing, you're producing, we know that they didn't vote for that. They didn't vote for it. So that's okay, but it's democratic. It's democratic. So there are channels for them to raise their concern. There were actually opportunity for them to raise the concern around this bill a while ago. So the bill now becomes the law. Once the bill becomes the law, they threaten to go to the Constitutional Court. It's unconstitutional. Good luck on that one, because this bill is actually, it's been so many years, should have actually been amended a long time ago, because ANC has really been not governing. I don't think they've been governing. Like I said before, there's a lot of things that they need to look at that actually are there now that are being abused, that the laws and healthcare, even legality, around that. You need to close the migration, asylum law, because we can see even with around migration how people smuggling are using that loophole around migration, and the NGO are also embedded in that as well. So as a government, you need to act on this thing. You need to bring about legislation. That's what you do. Bring about legislation, the bill that is going to be robust and is going to close the loophole around these issues that are modern issues that we're seeing around in South Africa. So I'm happy about this bill, and I think it's it's really great. When fully implemented, it's likely to be really one of the best things that ANC has ever done, or not ever done. So the second best thing they've done. The second best thing was to end apartheid. The first thing was to end apartheid. The second thing would be this bill, that to actually try to dismantle the apartheid system. The apartheid system is still there. It's still private. It was removed from the constitution, but now it's been privatized. It's been privatized. So this privatization of apartheid system needs to end. That's why the government is there for, is to have legislation and bills that are going to be robust to when you see the threat of the democracy, because there are criminals everywhere. People can see a loophole and then they start abusing that same system. So I am excited for you, South African kiddos. You're going to be really, when this bill gets implemented, when the funding is put in place, you guys are going to be really, you're going to benefit from this bill. Okay? Because this bill really, it's making sure that education system follow the Bill of Rights that's already enshrined in the Constitution. So, and also make sure that part of the government is there to govern. You're not there to be a celebrity. Governancy, bring law, bring legislation, change things, being robust. That's called governancy. And that's what ANC is doing. Yes, I like this bill, and I think, we're going to see today if maybe the DA has already filed for divorce. Zanzi, yeah. It is a movie, isn't it? Sounds like a movie, this stuff. But here we are. Very excited. Yeah. See ya. Have a lovely weekend. Bye.